Good evening everyone, welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going over the new algorithm, the new Genesis algorithm that we have right in front of us here on TradingView. I'll show you guys some backtests that I've done. I also created a new version of this algorithm which I'll share with you guys after this video. So if you want to use this algorithm, join our Discord. The link of that will be in the description. And if you want access to the new algorithm, that will also be available within a day. So today's main topic will be how do you create your own algorithm? How do you keep it simple? Start off with a very simple algorithm. That's what we will be covering today so that everyone understands what are these agents that we're talking about, what is the agent table, and what is a strategy. Okay, these are different things and can be combined into one algorithm to do the trading for you. All right, so let's start off with our algorithm that you guys are familiar with. So I have it right in front of me. I did a deep backtest. So this is from 2015, August 2015 until March of 2023. And as you guys can see, we made 225 million% profit, which is amazing. But guys, this is years and years of trading, right? No one would leave an algorithm running for, 8 years, right? So this is a bit unrealistic, but it does show us that if this algorithm gets enough time, it will be profitable. It will be highly profitable with a percentage profitable of 77.45. So this is a really good algorithm in my opinion. The max drawdown is too high. Now guys, let's have a quick look at these settings, right? Because you can change all of these settings, and this is what I would like to ask you guys. Try and change the settings a little bit, do some deep backtests and find your own settings, okay? We don't all have to use the same settings, right? So I think these you could also change, like all of the below, all this stuff right here. You could play around with it, see if you can improve some of the settings. Now, as you can see, we're using an ATR and a super trend pretty much, so an ATR and a multiplier. So 11 and 13 I've set them to. As you guys know, we normally use 11 and 6 for the HPH indicator, but I've gone with 11 and 13. Now, this is the new indicator, and one big difference that you can see here is that the ATR stop loss, or the trailing stop loss, has another yellow line below it, which means that now the stop loss is hitting directly. What does that exactly mean for us as traders? Normally, if price would come to this red line in one candle, we wouldn't hit or trigger a stop loss until the candle closes, right? So our stop loss was set based on a candle close. I think this is a very dangerous practice, because if price crashes and just keeps crashing within one candle, you're making a way bigger loss than is necessary, right? So this particular backtest has exactly the same settings as you can see right here, 11, 13, 11, 13, the same numbers right here. So it's the same indicator, same settings. The only thing that I have changed in this one is that it will have a direct stop loss. Okay, so if the price hits below this trailing ATR line, there will be a stop loss. Now in this newest version, there is this safety margin. The safety margin, I've set it to 0.27%, which means that if the price comes between the red and the yellow line and then reverses, we are not taking the stop loss. So pretty much to summarize this, the yellow line is our hard stop loss. If price comes there, we stop loss regardless of what the situation is. The red line is the trailing stop loss. If we come between the red and the yellow line, it's fine, okay, unless we close a candle between the red and the yellow line. But if we just hit with a wick between the two and then reverse, we're staying in our position. Okay, now let's have a look at the last big test, because as you can see, the results here already improved. So we're at 470 million instead of the 225 million% that we had before. So the total amount of closed trades here is about 8,000 trades, so 7,911. And in this latest version, we do 8,555 completed trades. That means that because our stop loss is more hard-coded, we get stopped out a little more often, but then again, we get more good trades as well. Okay, so we're switching sides a little bit earlier. Now let's have a look at the last version, because what I showed you guys is that we have at the very bottom, I added this safety margin. Okay, now if I set the safety margin to 0 and I have the ATR or the super trend back at 11 and 6 settings, then you can see we're doing 2.2 billion%, right? So it's a lot more trades, 13,000 trades, but the percentage profitable is going down, right? Does it matter to me? Not really, because the max drawdown is lower than the other one, so that's better. We have a decent profit factor. We have a lower average trade, but at the end of the day, this is doing better. Okay, so now let's remove the deep backtest and have a look at the raw numbers. So 53% for the last period of trading with an 18% drawdown. Let's have a look at this one. 28% with 67, a little bit more profit, but also a little bit more drawdown. And let's have a look at the last one. 1.8%, 31. So this is pretty much the worst one out of all of them. So that to me tells that the hard-coded stop loss can definitely be beneficial. But guys, I do not want to ask you guys to all choose the same algorithm, use the same thing, because that's just not the way that I would like that we can grow as well, right? Because if we have 20 members, all of them running exactly the same algorithm, how does that benefit all of us? How will we learn from that? How will we grow? We won't. We will just copy each other, and then yeah, there is no growth in that. So I would like for everyone to kind of play around with this indicator. You will get access to it. Play around with it. Find the settings that you like, that you want to go with. And even if you're not skilled enough to do any of that, I mean, at least give it a small change. Okay, it won't really change the profits that you'll be seeing, but at least you have done your own input into it, and everyone has a slightly different algorithm running, right? Because the basis will all be the same. Now, guys, we have this out of the way. This is the algorithm. You'll get access to it. Play around with it. Find your settings. Now let's have a look at this algorithm. What is it again that it's doing, right? How can we automate this? Because that's what this video will be about. We're gonna automate this in the most basic way that we can do it in Genesis-Algo. Okay, so you can see a lot of statements being printed right here. Let's actually start here, because this looks very, very clean here. Okay, so we're coming from a short signal. Okay, this is the main signal that you have. That means that you're gonna sell the asset. Then we reach take profit 1. Okay, so if we go into the indicator, you can see that for each take profit, you can have an alert be sent to your bot. Okay, so that's what we will be doing in a second. So this is take profit 1. You can see that there is in total 5 take profits, and there is a stop loss long. Let's have a quick look. In this scenario, we hit the 5th take profit. Okay, right here, and then price goes up. We take another short. We hit another take profit. Okay, price starts reversing back to the upside, and here you can see that we're going to flip long right here. There is one pretty bad trade here where it's going short and then has to go long again, but that's fine because later on price shoots up. We get another 3 take profits, and we get back into a long, back into a short, back into a long, another 3 take profits, right? So it's just following the trend. As soon as it caught the trend, it places the take profit levels and waits for those to be hit, right? So what you can assure yourself with an algorithm like this is that you will be on the right side of the trend. And this is really, really important, especially to beginning traders who find it really hard to follow the trend, and instead they would like to call the tops or call the bottoms, which is a really dangerous game to be playing. Right, especially like if we have a look at the last couple of days, we can see that the price has just shot up, and yeah, it was hard without a trend following algorithm to keep up with that. So how will we automate this? We know that there is long signals, short signals, stop loss signals, take profit signals. How can we make this as simple as possible so that some of you will be able to replicate it? Right, so I have some empty agent tables. Now guys, just to clarify and to refresh your minds, this is a Google Doc, so an Excel sheet, and I've taken the first row of these agent tables. So the first row always starts with the settings, so the offsets, entry, multiply, etc. I took one of these rows and pasted it in an empty Google Sheets. Okay, I've done this for snipe long main, snipe long market maker, snipe short main, and snipe short market making. Okay, so this is the short signals, and the market making part is basically to add to your trade. We won't be needing that. We will keep it as simple as possible for now. So we will only take the snipe long main and the snipe short main. Okay, so let's steal just a random agent from any table that you have and paste it into our first Google Sheets, and we can see we have one agent here. His entry name, his ID is pos1. Okay, his offset is 1. That means that he will be trying to buy Ethereum in this particular scenario $1 below the price. Now let's have a look at any random scenario. When we get a long signal, what we want to do is get into the trade as soon as possible. Now how can we tell this agent to get into this trade as soon as possible? right? We have all these settings and they might be a little bit overwhelming at first, but you want to start where you know what you're doing, right? So for example, this amount field, how much percent of our capital do we want to enter? Let's say we want to enter 10%, right? I just changed this to 10%. Let's say you have $1,000 in your Bybit wallet. This will take 10% of that, which means it's going to make an entry of $100, right? So 10% for the amount. Now we see the offset. The offset basically means how far away from the price would you start bidding. We know that the spread between buying and selling on Bybit is $0.50. So let's set this to $0.50, which is somewhat the minimum value that you can give this, right? So 0.5. Entry multiplier. You can forget about this function. You can always keep this to 1. Then we see the exit multiplier. Exit multiplier is where do you want to take profit? Now, what do we need? What do we know about our algorithm? We do not need to take profit because the take profit will come from other signals. All we are focused on is this long signal and this short signal. What are we going to do at those particular points? Well, I don't need to exit this trade, so I'm going to make this exit multiplier super high, so 9,999. 10% we already did that, that's the amount that we're entering for. Entry timeout means after how many minutes do we have to check if we're still first in line. First in line means that we're the first one trying to buy or sell because our offset is 0.5. After how many minutes would you like to check if the price has moved and if you're still first in line? Let's do that every 5 minutes, okay? So that's a pretty rapid replacement of our entry. Exit timeout means after how many minutes would you like to give up on this trade? Right? How long will you give this agent to complete this trade? Well, we're going to set this very high. Okay, so I set it to 99,000, which means we're never going to give up on this trade. It's either going to be a stop loss or it's going to take profit for us. That's the two options we have, right? Then we have prevent entries, prevent exits. This basically means would you like to use the RSI for this particular agent? So that means that, let me see, all these rows are basically referring to the same exact thing, right? So that we have all of these out of the way already because this is asking me about the RSI and I do not like to use the RSI for these agents. So I can ignore all of this. These are of course different. These are asking us, would you like this agent to buy or to sell? Both of them are currently set to true, but I will have to, this is the snipe long. So this one is only allowed to buy. Okay, so I'm setting the sells to false and the buys to true. These we can ignore. They have certain values, but they are set to false, so it will completely ignore all of these values here. So okay, the blue we can completely ignore it. Trailing entry means, for example, if you're trying to buy, do you want the price to go up? A certain confirmation. Do you want the price to go in your direction before you actually start to make a trade? Let's say we do not need the trailing entry, we do not need stop loss because the stop loss will be implemented into the algorithm itself, into the trading view algorithm. Delay profit, delay stop. Well, this is a way that you can tell this agent that whatever he's doing, he can only do it once. For example, if he would have an exit target, setting a delay profit of 9,999 would tell the agent that after he taken profit, he has to wait for 9,999 minutes before he can do the same trade again. We're not going to do any of that. No delay stop, no active above, no active below. Active above and active below, guys, super valuable settings because this will allow you to place these agents at above or below a certain price. Okay, so they will be waiting at that particular price before they do whatever they want to do. But for this particular strategy, we do not need this. Now, we're going to give this agent an agent name, an entry ID. And this is very important because in your system, no agents can have the same name because this will stop the bot from working. So let's give this an original name. So let's do it ETH-Algo buyer 1. Okay, so this is our first ETH-Algo buyer. So whenever the ETH algorithm gives us a long signal, we will be running this particular fella right here that we created. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is the snipe short main. Now we already created a snipe long main, so why not just steal this particular agent? And this is how I do it as well. Okay, guys, it's totally fine for you to do it in this way. Use the agents that you've already created, reuse them, and then change whatever you need to change. Okay, so first of all, we start with a name. So it's called ETH-Algo seller 1. Okay, and we know we can completely ignore the blue fields. And now we need to know what's different from a selling agent and a buying agent. Well, here we have buying set to true and selling set to false. Of course, we have to flip these around. Okay, so selling to true and buying to false. Let's delete this extra information right here. The entry timeout, exit timeouts are all correct. So pretty much all we had to do for this agent is flip the buy and the sell around and change the name. Now, guys, we've already created a strategy for buying and selling. So whenever we get a buy signal or a sell signal, we already have everything in order for that to work. Right now we see that there are certain take profits, and all of these take profits will be sent to us using webhook signals. Right, so you can basically input whatever message you're receiving every time you get one of these signals. The way I'm going to do this is if after we receive our long signal, I'm going to take the first take profit by just placing an order using the agents. Or I could even do it differently. Let's just create one strategy per table. Okay, so we need 5 for the take profits for the longs and 5 for the take profits for the shorts. Let's start with the longs. So what we will do, we create a new spreadsheet. Okay, and just like last time, we steal the first row so that we have all of the settings in our Excel sheet. And now we need to decide what is this particular strategy doing. Well, we know that it has to take profit for the longs. That means that it has to be selling contracts. Okay, so let's quickly steal this one so we have a basis to work out of. Okay, and we're going to call this take profit 1. And I'm only, for this example, I'll only show you guys one take profit, and I will implement the stop losses. The other forced take profits, they will just be exactly the same way as I'm doing them right here. Okay, so what I will do right here is I'll have a look at the algorithm and see how far is our first stop loss. It's 2.2% away from our entry, right? So what I can do is then go back to my take profit 1 and set this to 2.2%. Okay, which means that this agent will try to sell 2.2% from whatever the price is at the moment of triggering. Well, is that correct? Because we're gonna receive this take profit 1 signal when we're already at that particular price level. So actually I need to change that, and I need to change this to 0.5 again, because when we receive this signal, we want to get in ASAP. Do we want to exit? No, because this is a take profit. Okay, so we've already taken along with this agent for 10% of our capital. Now we want to, let me see how much percent do we want to take profit actually on this. It's 10% of our position. Okay, that means 1% of our capital should be enough. So what we can do is just change this to 1. Okay, and entry timeout is fine. It can stay exactly the same. And we're going to set a trailing take profit and a prevent exits. Okay, so let me walk you through what I've just done. This particular agent will start buying along when we get the signal. Then when we get the take profit 1 signal, this particular agent will sell some of those contracts that we've bought, and it will not try to buy those back cheaper, because the exit timeout is set very high, but also the prevent exit is set to true. Prevent exit, as you guys know, is part of the blue field, which means it's referring to the RSI. If this agent has sold something, that means that to buy it back, it will look at the RSI oversold. Let's set this to 10. Okay, what this will do is that this agent, whatever it sells, it will only buy it back if the RSI goes below, let's say, even 3, okay, on a period of 88, which will never happen. Why am I doing this? Because this agent shouldn't be exiting. It should just sell some of the contracts that this agent has bought for me. Okay, so this agent, the only task that I set him to do is to sell a small portion when we activate it. 1%, it will sell it, and it will not try to buy it back cheaper, because it will never reach that level to buy it back cheaper, because I set prevent exits to the TRS level of 3. Okay, this might be a little bit of a complex strategy to do it, but I think this is the cleanest way, and this is a way that I've done it on the other strategies. So think about it once or twice. Maybe you got to play back this little part of the video a couple of times to understand this, because this is this is referring to the RSI. I set the prevent exits to true. That means that this agent, whatever it's buying, it's not going to look for RSI to buy or to sell, I mean, but to buy back cheaper. It will look for the RSI, and that one I've set it to near impossible, so it will never try to buy back what it's sold. Okay, so this is the take profit for the snipe long. We'll do the same thing for the snipe short, and again, you can just steal whatever you have right here. Now I can see my entry ID is still empty, so I do have to make a name for that. So let's call it take profit 1, very simple. And we do the same thing here, take profit 1s, meaning it's for the short. Okay, so no names can be the same, so we have to kind of be creative there. And take profit 1s is the name as well. Now, what do we need to change? Well, first of all, this one is trying to sell contracts, but it needs to buy contracts, because the main strategy has sold contracts, right? It's a snipe short, and to take profit on a short, you need to buy back those contracts. So we need to change these two around. Buys is allowed, sells is not allowed. Okay, let's change the coloring so it's a little bit more clear. And prevent exits can stay to true, because whatever we buy back, we do not want to sell it, so the RSI is really high. Same thing as last time, 1%. So what will happen is this one will start shorting, because we receive one of these short signals from our algorithm. Let's look for one right here. So if we receive this short signal, we will start selling 10% of our equity, so 10% of whatever we have on Bybit at that point. And then we will wait for the price to come down. When we receive this alert, which is TP1, then this particular agent table will be activated, which is one agent trying to directly buy back 1% of whatever we sold from the short alert, right? So I have now snipe long main with one agent trying to do the buying, and one agent to do the first take profit. I have snipe short main, which is doing the selling when we get a short signal, and one agent to do the buying back of the shorts, so to take profit, right? This is simply how you create one of these algorithms. Now, if we have a look at the actual algorithm and how I have created those, of course, they are a lot more complex, a lot more things happen, right? And we'll get to that step by step, but I just wanted to show you guys the first step. First steps will be play around with the algorithm, try to help me find some good settings. Okay, have a look at the super trend settings. Maybe you're just lucky and you get some good settings at some point. Feel free to share those with us. And I'm sure some of you are a little bit more experienced, so they can definitely add value to looking through this indicator, finding some good optimized settings. You don't even have to share them, but I would appreciate if everyone just did their own due diligence and came up with their own strategy. So that would already help the group in a big way. So let's try to do that. I will upload this video for you guys as a part 1. That means that from here we're going to improve our algorithm and make it more and more complex over time. But let's start with just scratching the surface, having one long signal, having one take profit signal, and from here we can have a look at what is the most optimal way of doing this. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will do another one very soon for you guys. And yeah, if you have questions, leave them in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.